Hello, I am Izzy Noodles and I wanted to show you the process in which I made my Legend of Zelda outfit, Twilight Princess version. This was for an Extra Life charity milestone and I have only made the top half. I haven't made a full dress because it wouldn't even be on camera. My Extra Life dress-ups always end up falling on armistice, so I have my poppies on, which I fashioned into a necklace on this occasion because there was just nowhere else to put them. But just to emphasize, they are not a part of the look, I just like to wear them in memory. In this video, I'll show you how I created the shoulder guards, so let's begin. So I used some tape and some cling film to try and wrap around my shoulder. I kind of sometimes forgot to film stuff, or it was just kind of tricky to try and film it. But this is half of a shoulder part that's going over, my shoulder. So I'm putting this onto EVA craft foam. So I've cut out the tape with cling film, and then I've pinned it onto the foam to draw around it. So this is one half, and then I will mirror it to create the other half. So there we go, taking that off and folding it over. So because it's foam, the pins are easy to just push in. So it hit the corner edge a little bit, but it's just okay. And of course then I cut it out. There we go, roll it over, and that's the look. So just gotta do it again for a duplicate. So pretty much rinse and repeat, no point showing all of it again. So next came kind of the harder part, getting the outside top of the arm. So to hold the curved shoulder part in place, I'm using just some craft wire, nothing special. So it is flat, I'm hoping that it will have a bit more stability, however it's still pretty malleable. So just cutting the sizes I need. So those will go on the inside so they won't be seen. And I'm going to use this little wire to keep it in place. So just marking where I want these wires to go. And making a little hole to put the thinner wire through to keep the thicker wire down. So that's 2 holes, one either side, posting that through each hole. I always do my best to try and show you what I've done. Sometimes the camera doesn't focus. But then rinse and repeat 3 more times, twice for each longer part of the wire. And now just doing the same with the wire on the other one. And there we go, just using some pliers. And I have found something to help me fold this round this time to hold the thicker wire. Make sure each part is flattened down. I will do some extra here to make sure that nothing's gonna snag. So really struggling to fold that over to the right sort of angle. So for now, just putting some tape over there. I will be doing more to stop potential snaggage. So of course, rinse and repeat again for the other one. And there we go, I found something to help me fold the bands around. So that is a much better shape. So just checking they look pretty even. And then using some hot glue to cover the sharp edges. You can see the little indents of the wires on the outside. That's fine, that will be dealt with. And there we go. Pretty stringy, get rid of that. So now the hard part. I found it really difficult to get this side edge done. But I kind of just winged it. So I drew around it and then cut out the like semicircle. Making sure it fits. This bit was quite the faff. Kind of just drawing a line for a bit of context so I can visually see how I might want it. There we go, it doesn't really fit, but oh well, oh well. I'll make it fit. Nothing about that looks right, but I'm trying not to worry about it. So rinse and repeat, grab another one. And I didn't just draw around the yellow one because there might be a completely different shape. There we go, just trying to make it kind of the right size. Finding out where I want to cut it a little shorter there. And then gonna glue that on, which was also quite the pain. And I think it was kind of cold because the glue dried pretty darn quickly and I got it on the desk. So it's kind of holding, so now on this outside section, just building that up. And rinse and repeat. And there we go, not perfect, but oh well, oh well. I'm trying not to get too upset. So next I need to kind of do the part that's gonna sort of flap out, so to speak. I don't know how to label armor pieces, but I'll do my best. The flaps, we're doing the flaps. Again, this was pretty annoying and hard to figure out what kind of shape do I need here. Just using that scrap to try and figure it out. Yeah, the shoulders were definitely the hardest to figure out. The crown was kind of the hardest to not fall apart and piece together. So I think I've got my rough outline. Whether it works out or not, I do not know. We will just have to find out. There we go, just folding that to have a mirrored outline. And make a copy for the other side. The worst part is I shouldn't have just drawn around the part where it's going to attach, because it's probably a completely different shape on the other side. So I kind of just stuck it on with some tape so that I can make a start and trying to attach it with the glue gun. I liked nothing about this. Everything just felt so messy and clumsy. And rinse and repeat. So there we go. It's not bad, but could be better. I didn't really know how much of an angle I wanted the flap to stick out at. But now I'm going to draw on the pattern. So I am copying some of the images. And I kind of started on the other side, forgetting that I could just trace it and have it fully symmetrical. So I do stop at some point, because yeah, it's like, no, it doesn't look right. And then I've got a huge mess. What am I doing? So I'm just freehanding this. As I say, based on the pictures. So that's one side, and then I'll grab some tracing paper at some point. And I'm just grabbing a gem to draw around to make sure I get it in the right place and of the right size. So I have my pattern to match the gem placement. So here we go, here's me finally grabbing the tracing paper, sticking it on with some pins. Just drawing the outline so I can see if it happens to move. So of course just adding the sketch line to the opposite side. And then pinning it down on the other side to trace it on. This worked surprisingly well. I wasn't sure how well this would work. Moment of truth. Heck yeah, look how bold that is. And because I've got a bunch of lines, I'm just going over these ones to make it more obvious which are the lines I want to use. And I'm actually pinning this on, which did not work out. It moved around way too much as I was trying to pin it in place. Which is weird, because you think that wouldn't happen, but oh my goodness, did it keep moving. So just trying to get a symmetrical sort of lineup again as well, although I felt like that wasn't working out, so I freehanded it. And again, it just felt really hard to try and trace this symmetrically, so I freehanded. It's not accurate, but I'm trying not to care. I'm not going to a convention or anything. So really, I'm just tracing this to try and get a basic outline for the other shoulder piece. I'm hoping it's gonna line up. So it has lined up pretty well along that curved line. And then just re-emphasizing the lines. And now just putting this pattern along the top as well. So rinse and repeat. So that is the basic outline done. I'm just putting some holes in so that I can attach everything all together. Ideally, this is not how I would want to attach everything, but it's just craft. I'm not soldering anything. I'm just going to end up putting the gap through. And I just have some air dry clay now. I'm going to fill the little gaps that I made with the wire. Well, at some point I will, but to begin with, yes, I'm doing this a very long-winded way that ended up not really working very well. I'm just trying to put the clay on to create grooves around the edge, which it keeps being too thick, but then it's just, I could not get it to stay on there. So yeah, I just wanted to show this process anyway. It was thoughts that I had, but it didn't work out. So at some point I do just remove it, take it all apart, and try a different approach. So I'm just trying to pinch it, which is kind of how I ended up doing the crown anyway. The crown was a lot easier to do, as I've said, than this. Just dragging the edge pieces to try and keep it all stuck down. I tried. So I tried again. And I'm covering the holes now, just putting the clay into those holes. Close up so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And yeah, that's, considering I've got the glue gun out, the tantrum has happened. I've taken the clay off and I'm using the hot glue to create the grooves. So very long-winded, but at least it's working better. I don't know why I decided to put the glove on. I think I just didn't want to get glue on my fingers because it was going to be hot. Yeah, I'm just going along the edges to have kind of a seam, like in sort of metalwork, so to speak. So that's what I have achieved so far. It's definitely very bumpy, but I can use the air dry clay to fill the gaps. So it's not a bad look, it is working. Doesn't look perfect, but it's working. So continue. I do believe I ended up showing this whole thing, so if you are not interested in watching me, you know, put glue all the way around, feel free to skip ahead. I realise I do sometimes get carried away and just throw a lot of footage in instead of cutting it down to as much as I kind of probably should. 25, 25. Okay, so I think I've got the outline pretty sorted. So now I'm just going over the lines that I drew to have a raised pattern. So this was definitely a better idea than trying to do clay. Also trying to remove some stringy bits as I go. I feel like I got one side perfectly down and then the other side just ended up getting messed up somehow. Probably the way I was holding my hand. Awesome, there we go. So yeah, not the best, but not bad. So now just trying to find a way to hold this so I can do the side part. Yeah, there's a lot of faff and moving around. So this head was completely unhelpful. Maybe not so unhelpful because, as you can see, I'm trying the head again. Just trying the gem in the middle, that was stupid, because now there's glue stuck to it. These dots at the bottom were also very difficult to do because of the stringiness of the glue. Like, it just massively stringed. So just trying to get rid of some of them. Yeah, big string cleanup. And here I'm just using some of the air dry clay to fill the gaps. I do have what's called a slurry. So that's just clay in a pot with some water, so it softens the clay and makes it a lot more runnier, which is actually very helpful. So just grabbing some dry clay, I needed it a thicker part than the slurry. So yeah, this filling the gaps was kind of long-winded because I'd prefer to wait for bits to dry and then potentially add more. But yeah, this was very lumpy and bumpy. When I've popped a peely, it seems, one of my fingers doesn't have nail varnish on it. So I am using my fingers to begin with, but I do think at some point I swap. Yeah, there we go. I swapped to the tool. But there you have it. This is pretty much the rest of the basic making of. I do use gold leaf to cover it, so of course this is before it's all put together and covered in gold leaf. But essentially this is how I made the shoulder guards. So I hope you're enjoying watching. It's not a tutorial, it's just how I put things together here. And next up will be creating the chest pieces that put the shoulder pieces all together. So I hope you're excited to see that, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.